Hi friend, welcome back to the channel where we focus less on trying and more on being the best version of ourselves. If you're new, welcome. I'm Aisha. On this channel we talk about conscious creation, manifestation, deciding to have the things you want. If you would like one-on-one help with that, everything you need to know is in the description box below. Let's get started. Today we will be having another heart-to-heart, and we will continue to do so until everybody is on the same page. Nobody gets left behind. Everybody is going to understand. If you are here, if you are ready to get what you want, today's your day. Decide right now that this is the video that's gonna do it for you, okay? First of all, thank you for being here. You're in the right place. Please stick around because I can help you, okay? But you have to be here and you have to listen, watch the video to the end. You guys know I can see the watch time, right? Some of you don't watch the video all the way to the end and then you comment, and I'm like, if you would watch to the end, your question would be answered, but that's okay. I'm gonna let you know that I'm feeling a little silly and a little goofy, and I'm going to be slightly facetious in this video. This is kind of like a reworking of a little audio file that I did. It wasn't a podcast, but it's just like a little voice note, a little voice memo. It was a tad unhinged, and I just thought, you know, maybe this approach will alienate people, and I wasn't quite sure about it. If you still want it, I can upload it for you, but we're gonna bring it home today, and I'm hopefully gonna keep it very short and sweet and simple so that everybody can get what they need and go, okay? Contrary to popular opinion, people who are on this platform or other platforms speaking about manifestation, hopefully, if they're good at what they do not want you to stick around, in the sense that you don't need to be here. You don't need me. Like, I love that you're here. Obviously, I love that you're here and I love that we're together, but I don't want you to feel dependent on me. I want you to get it and then go. So the only reason that I do deep dives and I have videos that are over an hour long is because I think it's interesting. I'm a seeker by nature. But this can actually come back to bite you in the ass when it comes to manifestation specifically, because once you get it, you're supposed to go. You get it, you got it, it's done. If you do not have the fundamental understanding of what manifestation is, how reality creation works, and you just keep searching and searching and searching for something, you're gonna keep finding more things to search for. The search is never ending if you don't understand that you are the end. This is all about you. Always has been, always will be. Everything else is just the cherry on top. Everything else is just nice. It's fun. And things can be streamlined. You can find different ways of doing things. You can find more effortless ways of doing things, or just ways to make this experience and conscious manifestation more enjoyable, more fulfilling, more interesting for you. But again, once you get the fundamental thing, there literally should be no questions. Anyway, if you want to hear me rant and pretty much cuss you out about that, I can still post it. Let me know if you want it, okay? But I want to give you the essence of that here today, so that hopefully it reaches the right audience. Back to what I was saying, I'm calling you out today. Listen, I love the comments. I do my best to be as accessible as possible, at least on this platform. If you have a question, if I'm capable of answering it in a short enough comment, something that's not taking up a ridiculous amount of time, and it's just a simple question, I would love to get back to you. I love engaging with you guys. I love interacting. It's a huge part of this community. Like, literally, I would not be here if it were not for you guys and for you engaging in the content. But, bless your heart, there are some people in the comments that refuse to get it. They just refuse to understand. And it's kind of funny for me because I feel like I'm constantly repeating myself. I feel like I say the same things over and over and over again. It doesn't bother me, obviously. I love to do it. Otherwise, I would not be here doing it. But like I said, you don't need me. I don't want you to be dependent and think that my way is the only way. And if you don't do things the way that I say them, that things will never work out for you. If I've done my job well enough, you will know that that is certainly not the case. You don't need me. You don't need anyone outside of you to tell you who to be, how to be, what to do with anything that you ever do in your life, literally ever. That is all up to you, which is why I say it all comes back to you. It starts and it ends with you. The first thing I want to say is before you leave an untoward comment, please at least take the time to watch the entire video, or go check out some of my other content and see if I've answered your question or see if I've quelled your fears or your worries, because sometimes it's just like, what do I even say? What do I say? Because literally exactly what you're asking me, I answered in the video, so I don't know. Watch it again, maybe watch it to the end this time. That could be your problem. But there are also some people who feel like nothing ever works, your mind just doesn't work this way, manifestation just does not apply to you, for some reason, you, out of literally every other being in existence, manifestation doesn't apply for you. It just doesn't work because you've tried everything, right? I'm like, do you know where you are? Did you see the name of this channel? When you clicked, this is more being, less trying, and more being. So this is how simple manifestation is. Manifestation is extremely simple. There's really nothing complicated about it at its bare bones. This is the realm of duality. So there is that duality to everything. Manifestation can get extremely complicated. You can complicate it as much as you want. And on the other end of the spectrum, it's also very simple. Less trying, more being. Who are you being right now? If you were asking me some question about your convoluted circumstances, and this thing happened and this thing happened, and I have this scenario and I already tried this, but then this thing didn't work and this person said I had to do it like this, you are missing the point. I fear that you have been gravely misled about how this actually works. Today we're not going to complicate it. I'm going to ask you a very simple question, okay? What is it that you would like to do, be, or have? Don't worry, you may answer aloud. Go ahead. Okay, it is that way right now. Nope, it is that way right now. What about XYZ circumstance? What about this person said this? What about this happened in the past? What about I can't get rid of this belief? What about I'm blocked in this area? It simply is that way right now. Whatever you said, whatever your desire is, it is fulfilled. You are already the version of yourself living in the reality where it is done, period. No questions. Don't ask me a question about it. A lot of people don't like that answer, even though that literally is it. That is manifestation. Who are you being right now? That is what is going to be outpictured into your entire reality, right? We just talked about self-concept. We talked about ultimate self-concept and self-concept about you as who you are as a person. So that being, understanding that you are the I am, and I am that I am, which means whatever I say that I am is who I am, there can be no opposition to that, because everything outside of you is also you. So in order for you to have the audacity to sit there and write a long drawn out comment about your circumstances and give me a laundry list of reasons why you are unqualified to have what you want, you're not understanding that you are literally repeating the same story that is keeping you in the same cycle, repeating the same patterns, because you refuse to let go of that concept of yourself that you have as somebody who things don't work out for, somebody who's unlucky, somebody who's just not getting it, somebody who is incapable of being the version of themselves that they would like to be. If you want me to simplify it for you, understand that that's actually it. That's actually it. If I say that I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm vibrant, and then I go back to thinking about how I'm 50 pounds overweight, how I need to diet, how things are not working, how actually I gained 5 pounds today, actually I had a cheat meal, and then I had a cheat dinner, and then I had a cheat snack, and then I ruined my results. If you're stuck on that, if you're still stuck in that line of thinking that you can ruin things, that things are not working out for you, you are not getting it. Understand this, hear me when I say this. It is not possible for manifestation to not be working, because manifestation is all that is, because manifestation is just you. It is just who you are. So unless all of a sudden you have extracted yourself from all that is and you are a separate entity from existence, you are subject to the exact same law that everyone else in existence is also subjected to. It is the one and only true law of being, the law of one. Now we talk about all of these other laws, these spiritual laws, and it's more like, think of it like the 10 commandments. Like in this reality, with the way that things are right now, with the way that we are set up as energetic beings, having this physical experience, these are like strong suggestions. Like if you do it like this is probably what's gonna happen. But I want you to understand that the only thing that is actually true, the only thing that is actually real is whatever you say it is, period. It does not matter who is in opposition to you. It doesn't matter who tells you you're wrong. It does not matter what you see in the 3D. The evidence of your senses should never have more meaning to you than what you are able to see in your mind. Your imagination is king. Who you see yourself to be is king. Who you tell yourself that you are is who you are. period. Nobody can argue with you. Your reality is certainly not going to argue with you. Your subconscious mind is not going to argue with you, because it is literally this mechanism's job. If you want to call it infinite intelligence, subconscious mind, I already told you, the universe, it does not matter what you call it. We are speaking about the same thing. This mechanism's only job is to validate who you say you are and to give you the experience that you are having internally on the external, to make sure that everything is coinciding and everything is matching up with your vibratory state. That's a real thing. Listen, think about it like this. If the word vibration triggers you because you have law of attraction trauma, give all of the vibrations, right? If there are infinite versions of you, then there are infinite vibrations that you can embody. Think of those vibrations as states and give them a number. Okay, so a certain vibration number 2, correlates to version 2 of you. That reality corresponds to a version. So all the different versions of you and all the different realities are numbered, and that number correlates to a vibration, which just means a state, which just means an identity, which is the embodiment of you choosing to be the version of yourself that you would like to be. Okay, if you are over here in vibration number 1 and your desired reality, the version of you having what you actually want, is over here in reality number 2, you have to vibrate at vibration number 2 in order to get to reality number 2. It's like a puzzle. You can't crisscross wires and expect not to get shocked. Can't expect not to start an electrical fire. The energy does not line up. It does not match. It's not a good conduit. You are not an appropriate vessel for the things that you want if you are stuck in the beliefs that you do not have what you want. I don't know how much more simple I can make that, because the more simple that I try to make it, I hear, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what about that? But I want you to understand that there is no what about anything. So let's say you don't like your nose. Your nose is too big. So you're like, what should I say? What should I affirm? Do you think that if you had the perfect nose, if your nose was exactly how you wanted it to be, that you would be wondering what to say in order to change your nose? No, you would not be wanting to change anything, because you would understand that you are perfect the way you are and you are fulfilled the way you are, because it's already done, because you already have what you want. So what else is there to say? What else is there to do besides, duh, it is this way. It's obvious. If you were saying, I want to have perfect grades, but I just got my report card back and I have 3 Ds and my grades actually went down. They're worse than they were before. And I've been affirming incessantly. I've been trying to visualize. I've been trying to think positively, and it's just getting worse. Let me ask you this. Since you want to ask me a stupid question, I will ask you a stupid question as well. With peace and love. Yes, the question is stupid. You're not stupid, but the question is stupid. If the whole entire thing about manifestation is whatever you want, it already is that way right now. It's done. Be the version of yourself for which it is done now. Conceive of yourself to be the version of yourself who already has it. So your desire is perfect grades. Okay, you have perfect grades. The confusion comes when you have a question after that. You can't say, I have perfect grades, but what about how my GPA just dropped 2 points? What about how I just flunked out of this class? What about how I just failed that really important test? Do you understand how those vibrations, those versions of you, those concepts of self do not match? There is only one. There is one consciousness. There is one concept. It is I am. Who are you? You cannot serve 2 masters. This is really the thing. Manifestation is simple. Yes, it is. As much as I love the questions, as much as I love the discourse, I do not want to hear your question if it is about your circumstances. Because if you're doing that, if you are writing me a novel, literally repeating and regurgitating and retelling me that old story, why do you think that old story is still manifesting? Is it maybe because your attention is still on it? Is it maybe because you're still focusing on it? Is it maybe because you're still asking questions about that situation that's supposed to be gone? Therefore, in order to have a question, you have to be aware of the situation. Is that maybe why we're having a little bit of a disconnect? I'm going to keep repeating this throughout the entire video. Once you choose what you want, it is the way that you said it is. Period. No matter what you see, no matter what you think, no matter what's even going on internally, the feelings in your body. Because listen, I've talked about how you should feel good all the time. Once you know who you actually are, once you have that ultimate self-concept, once you understand that you are source, you are a creator, you are the I am, there's actually nothing that should be so triggering for you, because you know that all of this is you. It's changeable at any moment because infinite possibilities exist. And this is just a big play that you're putting on for yourself. This is just a game. It's really not that serious. A lot of people missed that, but I'm telling you again, it is the way that you say it is, no matter what. Okay? So if you say you want something, but what you're actually saying that it is you repeating the old story, replaying it, manifesting it, because that's how things manifest, right? The repetition of it. You have this pattern of behavior, you have this habit of continuing to replay it, continuing to ruminate in it, continuing to focus on it, and therefore, I wonder why it is still there. I wonder why you still are seeing evidence of a version of you who is supposed to be dead when you are actually still alive and well. That is death to the old man. You have to crucify the old man. You have to let him die. You have to leave him buried in the ground. I'm not ready for a zombie apocalypse. I don't want to see the old men coming out of the ground. Please stop. So that's the last thing I want to see in the comments is all the old men rising up and you telling me your old story. Now, I've also said this before, you should not fear the old story. There's nothing to fear in the old story. Again, there's nothing to fear at all, ever. That's happening in reality. Because once you understand that you are a source of everything that happens in reality, what is there to fear? Yourself? That doesn't make any sense. But if you are speaking of the old story from the same identity that is conscious of that old story, that means you're still attached to it, you're still identified with it, you still think that's you. That's why it manifests again. That's why you keep repeating the cycle, or you think you're stuck in some karmic loop. It's not the truth. That's not how it works. What's happening is you are serving two masters. The old story is nothing to fear, but you still attaching yourself to that old story is the reason that it does continue to manifest. That's literally how manifestation works. Do you understand? So it's not scary. You could tell me about the old story from a new version of yourself. It's the same as seeing any of the other infinite possibilities of reality. You could say the craziest thing. That doesn't mean that it has to manifest. Any negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts, just because you think them does not mean that they have to manifest. I've also talked about this. All affirmations are thoughts, but not all thoughts are affirmations. You have to identify with it. You have to believe, yes, this is really me. Or you have to know, yes, this is really the way that things are, in order for it to solidify, in order for it to harden into fact. You have to know it. You have to be it. You have to embody it. So if you look at the old story and you're just like, who's that? That is so crazy. Like, what? Like, to where the old story becomes like nonsensical to you, to the point where you can laugh at it, to the point where it's funny, then the old story is harmless. If you're so restricted and you feel trapped in it and you feel like literally you cannot let that old story die, you are serving two masters. You cannot ask me how to manifest a new circumstance when you are still focused on the old circumstances. So die to that old version of yourself. Let it be done. Stop repeating the story. If you know that things are the way that you say they are, whoever you say you are is who you are, and you say, I want this thing, but this is who I am. You did not claim yourself to be the thing that you want. You said, I want this thing, but I can't because I'm this version of myself. This version of myself is incompatible with this thing. How can I make myself into this version of myself? How do I identify? This is like the same as productive procrastination. You know exactly what you're doing. I believe that these people know exactly what they're doing. I'm talking to you. If this is you, yes, I'm calling you out today. I believe you know exactly what you're doing. How do I identify with this version of myself? How do I make a decision? Do you know the definition of decision? Do you know what it means to decide? What do you do when you have to go pee? Do you just sit there and think about, how am I going to stand up from where I am? Where is the bathroom? What if the bathroom has moved? What if I sit down and then the toilet disappears? Sorry, what do you mean? How do you decide to do anything? This is a genuine question. How do you decide to do anything? What is a decision? Do we really need to look up the definition of decision? Make a choice. And then regardless of the thoughts, the old beliefs, the sensory evidence that happens around you, it does not matter. Now the decision is the only thing. The version of you that you chose is the only thing. How can I decide that I've lost 25 pounds when I got on the scale today and it says that I actually weigh 5 more pounds? The scale is wrong. The scale is wrong. If you're that up in arms about it, don't get on the scale. Go into your imagination and get on the scale there and see the number that you would like to see. And any evidence that you see to the contrary is false. The only true reality is in your mind. Otherwise, you are serving two masters. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot claim you want something and then claim to be the opposite. That's not how that works, because it doesn't match up. It doesn't coincide. Anyway, let's read the Neville quote. So, you are, at this very moment, drawing into your world that which you are now conscious of being. Now you can see what is meant by you must be born again. If you are dissatisfied with your present expression in life, the only way to change it is to take your attention away from that which seems so real to you and rise in consciousness to that which you desire to be. You cannot serve two masters. Therefore, to take your attention from one state of consciousness and place it upon another is to die to one and live to the other. Okay, so I promise, if you are still not understanding, this is exactly why. If you're asking me a question and it has to do with your circumstance, if you think the fulfillment of your desire, getting your manifestation, is dependent on your circumstance, you are still not getting it. And if you are still focused on the circumstances, it is because you are serving two masters. That old man, the old identity, that old story is not dead. It is still kicking. It is alive and well. Both stories cannot exist simultaneously. Okay, you have to choose. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. Are you going to serve the old version of you? The one who is incapable? The one for which things do not work? The one for which it takes a long time? The one for which manifestation is complicated? Or are you going to do what has always been the single requirement? Decide to be the version of yourself who you want to be, and it is that way right now. It is that way right now. Already done. Not will be done. Already done. What serving two masters means is that internal conflict. That is the fighting with yourself, wanting something and holding it away from yourself, claiming that you want something and then not giving it to yourself. You are the only one who can give yourself permission. You are the only one who can give yourself validation. You are the only one who can say what it is. Only you can decide in your reality. That is your free will. It has always been that way as long as you have existed, and it always will be that way, literally forever and ever. That is your gift. That is literally your gift from God, to choose, to decide. Decide to be the version of yourself having what you want. Hello. So listen, you are at this very moment drawing into your world that which you are now conscious of being. Now you can see what is meant by you must be born again. If you are dissatisfied with your present expression in life, the only way to change it is to take your attention away from that which seems so real to you and rise in consciousness to that which you desire to be. You cannot serve two masters. Therefore, to take your attention from one state of consciousness and place it upon another is to die to one and live to the other. I talked about this also when I talked about the meaning of the cross. That the cross, the crucifixion, is the crossing out of the negative self-identity. The negative self-identity must die so that I may live. You're gonna get it one of these days. I'm gonna say it enough times. I'm gonna pound it into your head enough for you to understand that it really is simple. If I were to just make a 5-second video and say, what is it that you want? Okay, it is that way right now. Bye, see you next time. Everybody would be like, what? But what about this? But what about that? But what if it's like this? I'm telling you, I obviously understand that manifestation is extremely simple if you understand how manifestation works. It does not instantly click for most people. Most people, it takes a little bit of deeper introspection, a little bit more learning the law, getting to know the law, building that faith, that relationship with God and you to really understand how obvious, how it just like, it is that way. And once you understand it, there's no going back from that point. Understanding that you are all that is. Decide. Make a decision. It is the way that you say it is, no matter what. I repeat these things and I'm like, yes, it's obvious. Yes, it's obvious. Everybody gets it. But a lot of people don't get it. That's why I'm here. Otherwise, you would see me for 5 seconds. I would never post another video and there would still be people who are confused. No one left behind. So that is what death to the old man is. That is what crossing out of the negative self-identity is. Those circumstances are attached to that old version of you. If you would not like those circumstances to persist, you have to assume yourself to be a new version of yourself. You have to claim a new self-concept, That is it. Don't make it any more complicated than that if it hurts your brain. It's literally fine to leave it there and to just make all the rest of the decisions yourself as well. What if I do it like this? If you want it to work that way, yes, it works like that for you. If you enjoy it, why not? It works that way for you, fine. If it doesn't work that way for the next person, who cares? That's their reality where they have their own free will and it can work however they want it to work. We're worried about you. I want you to focus on you. Who are you deciding to be? That old man in those old circumstances. They do not get to live by whatever means necessary. Then you want to go into the techniques, the brainwashing yourself, the reprogramming your subconscious mind, the saturation of it all. Go ahead. It's still what it is. As soon as you decide to be that version of yourself and you stand firmly in that conviction, that's it. As soon as you make the choice, it already is that way. The only thing that makes it go back the other way, the only thing that allows those opposing circumstances to pop back up is when you go back and you start serving the old master again. You start entertaining that old story. You start asking questions that don't make any sense for a version of you who is not in that situation anymore, because you are no longer that version of yourself living in that reality. So why are you asking me a question about this? What are you talking about? That's why sometimes it gets like, hello? So I will continue to repeat myself. Yes, I will. Because if you are asking a question like that, if you think that your manifestation, literally whatever it is dependent on a circumstance, you have missed the point. You're still in that old man. That old man does not have that ultimate self-concept of I am who I say I am. It is whatever I say it is. There are infinite possibilities. All I have to do is choose. In this mechanism, infinite intelligence, the universe, God, source, works for me on autopilot. That's literally all the work is done for you. All the work is done for you. If you want to affirm because you like to affirm, affirm. If you want to visualize because you like to visualize, visualize. If you want to listen to subliminals because you enjoy listening to subliminals, I don't know. Go ahead. As soon as you make that decision, it is that way. So think about it like this. Once you make a decision about the way that things are now, you need to erect a tombstone for that old version of you, and you need to bury the old version of you, and you need to let it rest in peace. Do not go grave digging. Do not go waltzing through the cemetery like, it might be fun to see a little ghoul from the past. Just whoop, scare myself with the old story real quick. Stop. Let the old man die. Let that story rest and resurrect yourself in Christ consciousness. The consciousness that knows that you are the I am. You are that all that is. There is nothing outside of you. Not a single thing, not a single person, not a single circumstance. Do you understand? Choose ye this day whom ye will serve. Your favorable circumstances or your unfavorable circumstances. Your desire fulfilled, your desire unfulfilled. It is up to you, and you are absolutely free to do whatever you please. But it is simple. It is as simple as deciding, what is it that I want? Okay, it is that way right now. But like I said, a lot of people don't like that answer or cannot cope with that answer because they don't have the fundamental understanding, the awareness of who they actually are. Which is why I sit here and yap extensively and will continue to do so. If you don't like it, goodbye. Okay? Okay. I know I said this was gonna be the shorter version of that voice memo. It wasn't. The voice memo was like 20 minutes and this is probably longer. Anyway, I said what I needed to say on it. So there should not be any more questions. Answer the question yourself. Before you think you need to comment a question, you need to ask me a question. Think in your mind, what would the version of me who knows that it's already done say? And then see if you still need to ask a question. Okay? Okay. Love you. All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for me today. I intend this message serves you well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments. If you're interested in working with me or checking out any of my other platforms, all that information will be in the description box below. And other than that, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.